everybody. We're moving on to our second worksheet on fourths and fifths, and this will go much faster than the seconds and thirds and sixths, and because there are only three types of fourths and fifths. Perfect, 1 to 4, 1 to 5 of a major scale, and then if we make it smaller by a half step, it's diminished. If we enlarge it by a half a step, they become augmented intervals. So let's get started. So we want to identify the following intervals, whether they're diminished, perfect, or augmented. So the first thing we do is we identify whether it's a fourth or a fifth. And if it's a combination of lines and spaces, it's a fourth. If it's either both spaces or both lines, it's going to be a fifth. I'll show you how that works. So it's a fourth because we count up D, E, F, G. There's 4 letter names, and then we realize that, hey, G is the fourth note of the D scale, therefore it's a perfect fourth. Here we have notes on spaces, and there's a space in between, so it's a fifth. We have D, E, F, G, A. That's 5 steps or 5 letter names. I know that D to A is a perfect fifth. But if I raise that bottom D to if I sharp it and raise it, I make this interval a half step smaller, therefore it's a diminished fifth. Okay, what's E to B flat? Well, some kind of fifth, so you always write that in first. What quality is it? Well, E to B is a perfect fifth. Therefore, if I flat the top note, I'm making it smaller, and I have another diminished fifth. What's F to B flat? Well, if you know your F scale, you immediately know it's a perfect fourth. But if we count, we go F, G, A, B, that's a fourth. And then we identify, hey, B flat is the fourth step of the F scale, perfect fourth. So that's another way to do it. Similarly, F sharp to B is a perfect fourth because B is the fourth step of the F sharp scale. See how easy this is? Once you know your major scales, this stuff is easy. Next one, what's G to D sharp? Well, I know G to D is a perfect fifth, therefore G to D sharp is an augmented fifth. What kind of interval is G sharp to C sharp? I know it's a fourth. What else do I know from my knowledge of major scales? I know that G to C is a perfect fourth. Therefore, if I sharp them both, it remains a perfect fourth. What's A to E sharp? I know that A to E is a perfect fifth. Therefore, A to E sharp is an augmented fifth. Here we have we have A sharp to D. We know that A to D is a perfect fourth. Therefore, A sharp to D is a diminished fourth because we're raising the bottom note a half step. Okay, what's B to F? Well, it's some kind of fifth. What do we know? We know that B to F sharp is a perfect fifth. Therefore, B to F is a diminished fifth. How about C to G flat? Well, we know C to G is a perfect fifth because it's 1 to 5 of the C scale. Therefore, if I lower the top by a half a step, I go from perfect to diminished. So this is also a diminished fifth. How about B flat to E? Well, I know first of all, that this is a fourth. I'm counting up 4, but I also know that the fourth note of the B flat scale is an E flat. The E on top here is a half step higher, therefore it's an augmented fourth. And moving on to bass clef, we have an A to an E. What do we know about the A scale? We know that A to E is 1 to 5 of the A scale, therefore it's a perfect fifth. One of those open sounding intervals. Okay, what is B flat to F sharp? We know from our B scale that B flat to F is a perfect fifth. Therefore, if we make it wider by raising the F to an F sharp, we get an augmented fifth. And what's a G to a C? Well, we know that 1 to 4 of the G scale is G to C, therefore it's a perfect fourth. And how about an F flat to a C flat? Well, it's a fifth, but we have no F flat scale as a reference, so let's get rid of these flats, and we have an F to a C we already know is a perfect fifth because we know our F scale. Therefore, if we flat both of them, it remains a perfect fifth. So this is actually an E, or the enharmonic equivalent is an E, and the enharmonic equivalent of C flat is a B. And how about a G to a C? Well, G, A, B, C. That's 1 to 4 of the G scale, therefore it's a perfect fourth. And G sharp to D is a fifth. And if we get rid of this G sharp because there's no G sharp scale as a reference, then I know that G to D is a perfect fifth. Therefore, if I raise the bottom note, I'm making it half step smaller, and we have a diminished fifth, G sharp to D. And how about an A to an E flat? Well, we know A to E is a perfect fifth because A to E is 1 to 5 of the A scale. And if I flat the top note, I'm making it smaller, therefore I have a diminished fifth. What's B to E flat? I know that B to E is a perfect fourth because I know my B scale. It's 1 to 4 on the B scale. So it's a perfect fourth, therefore if I flat the top note, I'm reducing the size of the interval to a diminished fourth. Here we have a C sharp to a G, it's some kind of fifth. We can approach this two ways. I can just get rid of the C sharp and say, well, C to G is perfect, therefore C sharp to G is diminished. Or I could say, my knowledge of the C sharp scale tells me that C sharp to G sharp is a perfect fifth. Therefore, if I flat the G, if I lower the G to a G natural, I also get a diminished fifth. And we have C to F sharp, some kind of fourth. We know C to F is a perfect fourth, therefore C to F sharp is augmented because we've widened it. And how about C sharp to F sharp? Well, we know our C sharp scale, everything is sharped, so this is a perfect fourth automatically. And here we have a D to an A sharp. Well, what do I know about my D scale? I know D to A is a perfect fifth. If I raise the A to an A sharp, I'm widening it, so I make it an augmented fifth. And down here, we're going to complete the following intervals by adding a note above a given note. So the given note is E. It says they want a perfect fifth, so you count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you put in a B, and then you determine if it's a perfect, diminished, or augmented fifth. So let's move on. I need a perfect fourth above E sharp. So I know it's E, F, G, A, some kind of A, because its interval has to be 4 letter names. What else do I know? Well, I can't use E sharp as a reference, but I know that E to A is a perfect fourth. Therefore, if I raise the bottom note to E sharp, I have to raise the top note A to A sharp. Therefore, E sharp to A sharp is a perfect fourth. What's a perfect fourth above F? It's the same thing as asking what's the fourth note of the F scale, and the answer is B flat. What's an augmented fifth above G? I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That brings me to a D. I know my G scale, so G to D is a perfect fifth. Therefore, if I want an augmented fifth, I have to raise that top note to a D sharp. So G to D sharp is an augmented fifth. And I need a diminished fifth above G sharp. So let's count up 5, G, A, B, C, D. Some kind of D that we're looking for. Well, what do I know about G sharp? Nothing, because there is no G sharp scale. But if we get rid of this sharp, I know that G to D is a perfect fifth. So if I raise that bottom note a half step, I'm decreasing the size of the interval, thereby making it into a diminished fifth. And that is our answer, G sharp to D. All right, we need a diminished fourth above A. We go A, B, C, D, some kind of D. What do we know? We know that A to D is a perfect fourth because we know our A scale really well. So to get a diminished fourth, I have to lower this D to a D flat, thereby making the perfect interval diminished. We need a diminished fifth above A sharp. So let's count up 5 from A, B, C, D, E. It's some type of E. And we don't know anything about A sharp. It's unusable. But I do know that A to E is a perfect fifth. Therefore, if I raise the bottom note a half step, I'm condensing the interval, making it a half step smaller. Therefore, it is a diminished fifth. So A sharp to E is our answer. What's a perfect fourth above B? Same thing as saying, what's the fourth note of the B scale? It's E. And what's an augmented fifth above C? Well, C, D, E, F, G, some kind of G. We know C to G is a perfect fifth. So if we sharp that G on top, we get an augmented fifth that we're looking for. What's an augmented fourth above B? B, C, D, E, some kind of E. And we know from our B scale that B to E is a perfect fourth, and we need an augmented fourth. So we're going to raise this top note to an E sharp, and B to E sharp is an augmented fourth. Need a perfect fourth above B flat. Well, I know the fourth note of the B flat scale is E flat, so I immediately have my answer. How about a diminished fifth above A, B, C, D, E, some kind of E. I know that A to E is a perfect fifth. We're looking for a diminished fifth, so I have to flat that E, and A to E flat is a diminished fifth. And we'd like a perfect fourth above B, and from our B scale, we know B to E is a perfect fourth. Well, if B to E is a perfect fourth, then what's a perfect fourth above B sharp? Well, we just have to sharp both of them then. So B sharp to E sharp. And we need an augmented fourth above C. So C, D, E, F is going to be some kind of F. What do I know? I know that C to F is a perfect fourth, and I need to widen it to augment it. Therefore, I'm going to raise the F to an F sharp. So C to F sharp is our answer. How about a perfect fourth above D? I know that G is the fourth note of the D scale. Therefore, that's our answer, D to G, perfect fourth. Need a diminished fifth above D sharp. D, E, F, G, A. I've counted up 5 letter names, so I know it's going to be some kind of A. But D sharp is not a major scale. I can't use it as a reference, so I get rid of it. And I know that D to A is a perfect fifth from my knowledge of the D scale. So if I raise the D on the bottom a half a step, I'm taking that perfect fifth and diminishing it. So that is the correct answer. And we're looking for an augmented fifth above an E. So E, F, G, A, B, that's 5 letter names, brings me to some kind of B. I know that E to B is a perfect fifth because I know my E scale really well. So if E to B is a perfect fifth, then to get an augmented fifth, I need to raise the B to a B sharp. Well, I need a perfect fourth above E sharp, but I know that E to A is a perfect fourth, right? Therefore, if I raise the E to an E sharp, I would need to raise the A to an A sharp. Therefore, E sharp to A sharp is a perfect fourth. And what's a perfect fifth above F? It's the same as asking what's the fifth note of the F scale, and the answer is C, in this case, middle C. And what's a diminished fourth above G? Well, G, A, B, C, some kind of C, brings us to middle C. I know that G to C is a perfect fourth, so to get a diminished, I have to lower that C to a C flat. And how about a perfect fourth above F? It's like same as asking what's the fourth note of the F scale, and you reply B flat because you know your scale so well. Perfect fifth above F flat. There is no F flat as a reference scale, but I do know that F to C is a perfect fifth, right? Therefore, if I flat the F, and I have to flat the C on top. So F flat to C flat is our perfect fifth we're looking for. And I need an augmented fourth above an E. So I know E to A is a perfect fourth from my knowledge of the E scale. And to make a perfect augmented, I have to raise the top note a half step, E to A sharp. And that's it for page 2, fourths and fifths. And I'll see you next time when we go on to page 3, dealing with sixths and sevenths.